Welcome everyone to episode 53. Wild that we're here already of the Bunker Talk. Thank you so much for being here with me today. We have Jason Gonzalez from DGA Security. How are you?
Doing well, and yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. We were connected by Romy.
Of course. Everybody's
of course.
Connected by Romy.
Connected
6 degrees of Romy.
Right. Connected by Romy. And I think that we had some time in between the connections though, and then we finally met in person and we were like, hey, this is a long time coming. So
exactly right. At Romy's office. Actually.
Right. Tell everybody about yourself, who you are, what you do, how'd you get there, all that fun stuff.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Jason Gonzalez. I'm with the DGA Security. I am a senior security consultant for them. Been with the company for about 12 years now. Started in New York and came down to Florida about 4.5 years ago to open the office for us down here. When I came down here, it was just me, and thankfully the business has been really good for us down here. And we've been able to grow, and we've got salespeople, we've got an office manager, we have a bunch of technicians and trucks. The business is growing. So, for us, being down here was important, not just doing the business and being in New York. We actually wanted to have boots on the ground here, and it's proven to be a good decision.
And tell us, what does DGA Security do?
We do commercial security systems, so alarms, cameras, and access control. We do that for businesses in every industry, regardless of the type of space that they're taking, or the size of the space that they're taking. We're headquartered in New York. Again, I open the office for us down here, but we do business all over the country.
Define or explain to me, for people that don't know, access security. What does that involve?
So access control is your card reader or your key fob. So if you ever walked into a building and presented a credential for that door to open, that's access control.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. You see these things, right?
Yeah.
But you never think of there's companies that do that for you.
Of course,
right?
And then now I'm so trained everywhere I go. I'm like, are there cameras here? How's security on? It's crazy.
You already scope every place out.
Exactly.
That's funny. So I know besides DGA, you are very well connected here, and it's fascinating that you grew your network so quickly with only being here for 4 years. Tell us about that. Tell us about how'd you find a network so fast?
Yeah, for sure. So again, I was doing this for quite some time in New York. I had a great network in New York, still have an amazing network in New York that is very supportive. They continue to put me onto projects. They're amazing. So came down to Florida, and somebody that I know from New York, I think a lot of people know Esther, right?
Yeah.
She moved down to Florida right around the same time I did. We were doing business together in New York. So when she moved down, we were saying, let's have lunch and let's talk about how we're going to grow our networks in Florida. We had starting from zero. The idea was to put an event together so we can get some people in a room, let them mix it up. There are so many different networking events and groups out there. They do things very differently. Every group does their thing a little bit differently. There's some very formal ones. We kind of wanted to be on the more casual side of that. So the idea was to get people in a room, let them mix it up. Hopefully they can form a relationship or a bond aside from work, and then that turns into work later, right? So we started Sunset Social. We had 20 or 30 people coming to those events, and it's grown to be much larger now, thankfully. We started doing them in Broward County. In November will be the first time that we're also doing one in Miami. So we're excited about that.
So I'm going to get real granular here.
Sure.
Right? So you moved to a new place, right? You knew one person, in theory. I'm sure you knew more people because the connection from New York and Miami.
Yeah, sure.
It's very common. But how is that? How do you find the first 20 people to come?
Yeah, I think that, for me, when I'm going in, I'm looking to build a network. I want to meet other folks the same kind of folks that I had in New York. I want to meet those kinds of folks in Florida, right? So what does that mean? That means going to these other networking events that I was talking to you about and introducing myself and meeting those folks. And hey, now I know an architect, right? Now I know a GC. Now I know an interior designer. And then those networks grow slow. I mean, some people will say that I grew quickly. It didn't feel so quick, right?
It's pretty quick. It is pretty quick. It's funny because, I've been in the B&Is, I've been in, the chambers and all those things. And I know that now more than ever, I would say it's probably more popular that people are kind of spinning off and making their own groups of networks and things like that. But I don't know that building a community is easy. I wouldn't say it's easy.
It's definitely not easy.
No.
But if you truly enjoy, what Esther and I really enjoy is connecting people and getting people in a room and I see Ciara in a room and I know somebody else in that room that you should be talking to, and me grabbing and say, hey, Ciara, come over here. Let's meet this person, right? So that's what Sunset Connect affords us the opportunity to do, right? We get those folks in the room, 150 people in the room, South Florida business owners and business professionals, and I'm able to say, you know what, this person should speak to this person. Let me connect them right now. And I think that's what other people are doing also. So that's why that event has grown as big as it has.
Mm-hmm. So sorry, I know I cut you off. So super granular. So you basically picked from that network that you already had, meeting people, inviting them to an event.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I mean, the other thing also is, you know, growing a network, I still have a great network in New York. So it's important to lean on that network, even in New York, and say, hey, I'm going to Florida or I'm in Florida. Who do you know that I should speak with, right? I mean, you and I have a great relationship in New York. Who do you have in Florida? Really good for me to have a conversation with, a coffee with, a lunch with, whatever the case may be. And then that turns into your network.
It's fascinating that you say that too, because it's sometimes, I would say, a lot of the times the mistake that people make with networking is that, right? Like it's people keep it so surface level, where you know someone from New York, maybe that it's not necessarily that you do business with them, but they're still in the network, right? They're still a professional that you can lean on for other aspects of life, not just like a piece of business.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I learned very on that just being transactional with folks is really tough. And it's not as fruitful as you ever hope it's going to be. You got to be that person that they can call on for other things, to your point, outside of just your scope of work.
Right.
And if you can be that person, then, you know, you're going to be in a great spot, because they're going to come to you for, hey, I need this. And the folks in my network in New York and the folks that I have in my network here now in Florida, a lot of them are that way for me, where I can contact them and it's not just about what they do specifically for work. I can call them for other things.
Right. So I know I gave you a little bit of a background, but the premise of the pod, right? My industry is very supportive of new owners, new producers that are out there hungry, learning the business, right? But I don't know that all industries are. And so I realized that it's so hard to do this, play this game without a community of people, right? That you could that understand what you're going through and you could just vent to, or they pick you up when you're down, things like that. So I thought to myself, well, what about all these industries maybe that aren't as supportive? So let me create a resource for people to hear experiences of other people that, you know, have experience and can maybe help them navigate these waters. And so,
which is amazing.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Yes.
And then honestly, it was scary at first, but now I love it. Now it's just turned into me making friends and having great conversations. So I'm actually enjoying it. Yeah. Thank you.
You're doing well.
So my first question to you is, someone new in business, right? Where do they start with networking? What is your best piece of advice? Because obviously you've been doing it for a very long time. You're very passionate. You're very good at it. What do you think is the best piece of advice for someone to start?
Offer value first and foremost, right? To network, I think a lot of folks start networking and think, you know, I'm going to go to a networking meeting, and if I don't get business out of that event, it was unsuccessful, right? Or they want to meet somebody, they call them or they email them, and they want to meet with them to forward their motives. It's like, if you can call somebody or you can email somebody or you can speak to somebody in an event, say, talk to me about what you're doing, right? Tell me about your client base. Tell me about where they are. Tell me about who's good for you to be connected with. I've got a big network. Let me open my network to you. And I feel like doing that opens a heck of a lot more doors than, hey, this is what I do, right? Do you know anybody that can help me? People get turned. I mean, I shouldn't say all people get turned off, but I think that it's much easier when you're adding value, and that conversation will happen naturally, where if you're asking them what they do and how you can help them, somebody that is savvy at networking is going to turn the table and ask you the same question. And now you both know what each other does and connect each other.
What do you think is a realistic timeline? Because I think you're right. One of the worst things, and obviously when you're new at networking, right, it's one of those things where you're just so terrified. I didn't notice how many people are mortified of networking. It is challenging.
Yeah. I mean, walking into a room full of strangers is daunting.
It is. And then like you don't want to be the one interrupting a conversation that's already happening. I mean, and I've done all kinds of networking, and I still don't like to be that person that like is interrupting, right, a conversation. But besides being the first one for an ask, right, or passing out the business cards, like if like if it's a lottery ticket, you don't want to do that, right? Those are obvious.
You're making it rain business cards,
right? Like it's not. Yeah. Nobody wants to have that drink with you, right? But also, I think people lose their patience with the time it takes to build a network. What do you think, if someone's doing it right, what do you think is a realistic timeline of like how does someone measure their efforts and know it's working or not?
Yeah, it's a really good question. The first thing is to go in there with the expectation that this is not going to be overnight, right? You're going to meet a ton of people, and I still go to B&I meetings, right? I tell people I'm happy to go as a guest or a replacement. I know how, that group works. If my schedule allows, I'll go, and I know I'm going to meet 30 people. Maybe 2 people or 3 people will be good for me, right? Mm-hmm. When you go to a networking event and there's 30 people in the room, there might be 2 or 3 people that you can actually do some business with, or you can actually help. I think that the time, it just has to be understood that this is not going to be something where you walk into a meeting on Monday and Tuesday they're putting business on your desk. You've got to maintain that relationship, right? I've had a lot of the younger folks at DGA that I've plugged into networking groups that didn't necessarily stay with it, right? I mean, they meet once or twice a month, and after 2 months, 3 months, they don't go anymore because they didn't get any business out of it. It's like, no, these folks you need to keep going so that they know you are a reliable source, that you are a professional, you're going to show up, right? You going for 2 or 3 months and then never going again is not going to work. So timeline it's a really tough question to answer.
But it's more than 3 months.
But it's
guaranteed.
A couple of months. I mean, you got to show somebody that you are somebody that's going to be able to handle a referral from them, because that's an extension of them, right? If I introduce somebody to somebody else in my network and that blows up for them, they're going to come back to me and say, Jason, why did you introduce me to this person? What is going on? So, nobody wants to introduce a potential client to you if they don't know who you are, what you're about. Do you take this job seriously, right? And I think the only way you can do that is by developing those relationships and continuing to show up time and time and time after time. And you're not going to get it. Look, maybe it's going to be 3 months, 4 months. Maybe you'll meet somebody else that you think can send you business, and it takes a year to get business from them. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, for me personally, I cannot keep score. I make a ton of introductions, and I feel like that's going to come back for me. But I'm not saying, hey, I introduced Ciara to 2 people, so where's the 2 people
where's my
she's going to introduce me to, or where's my business? Like, I just can't do that, right? I need to help as many people as I can. If I see somebody that has a need for your services, or I see somebody that you should speak with, I'm going to connect you with them. I'm not going to, go into the scoreboard and be like, no, I connected Ciara already too many times. I'm not going to connect her again.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's part of the success in networking too. And that's the philosophy that B&I teaches, right? The giver's gain. It's like, if you're going to build a business or a career based off of your network, the scorekeeping is just, obviously there is some primary relationships, like, for example, a realtor and a lender and a title company and a home inspector. That's very different. It's transaction. It's high volume.
Yep.
If you're using the same lender or the same home, there's some synergies at some point too. You have to evaluate your time with relationships, right? And very different. We're not saying that you just completely, there's always a circle of people that are direct synergies with what you do, where at some point you're going to question, like, well, what is it?
Yeah, for sure.
What's happening, right?
For sure.
Well, and so then on the flip side, I agree and understand with what you're saying as far as like you're not keeping score, but at what point maybe, and for the listeners, it's worth mentioning that your guys' events are quarterly, correct?
Quarterly, that's right.
So it's different, because when you meet once a week, you should be tracking your time.
For sure.
Correct? Tell me your feelings on that.
So that, the B&I model, for example,
correct,
meets on a weekly basis. They keep score because, again, they meet every week, right?
It's almost a second job.
It is essentially a second job. You're right. For us, we understand that. We understand that people's calendars are, packed to the gills. So for us, we wanted to do it on a quarterly basis to give people the opportunity to say, I can set aside 2 hours. I can set aside 2 hours every quarter to go to an event, meet people. It's very, casual. A weekly thing just wasn't for us. if I went to a weekly thing and I wasn't getting business in, I would say probably 3 or 4, I would say 3 to 6 months probably, I would start questioning if that was the right group for me.
Yeah.
Especially if I was in a group like that does keep score, where I'm in this group, I'm sitting in the security system seat, if you will. So everybody at this table should be sending me their business. If there's no business anybody has to send me, is it the right group for me, right? And then hopefully it's, you know what, it's not great either way if they're not sending you business, because they either don't have it to give or they're giving it to somebody else.
Well, I think that's also on the flip side of the mistake that people in networking make too, is you don't know when to cut bait either.
Yeah.
And so it's, first of all, cutting bait from a group doesn't mean you lose the relationships. You're not cutting the people, you're just cutting the commitment to the group of showing up. You know, it's so complex when you get into this space of trying to build relationships, because it reflects on you as a professional, right? If you're in a group that requires weekly attendance and you miss 2 weeks a month, not great.
Exactly.
You're not reliable, right? Or at least it's the impression that's given. Sure. It's the reputation that you're building. So it's also fair to assess where you're depositing your time.
Of course. I mean, the time is everything. Right?
Everything.
I mean, it's huge. So you're absolutely right. For me, the networking groups that meet on a weekly basis, even a bi-weekly basis, are just really tough for me, because I want to build relationships with folks that maybe I don't need to see every week to remember who I am.
Right.
Right. So for me, if it's a weekly or bi-weekly thing, it's really tough to wrap my head around spending the time. So we did the quarterly thing, and it's been working out well so far, thankfully.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, okay. So we've covered, assessing your groups, right? What not to do. What are some of the best tips you have on success in building a network?
Yeah. Again, I'll go back to making sure that you're asking how you can provide value, right? And you're adding value to them. I would say, obviously, you walk into a room full of strangers, don't be shy. Introduce yourself. It is awkward sometimes, to your point, right? People are talking already. How do you kind of get in there? There's a great article about the way people stand when they're at networking events and whether there's an opening for you to
that's fascinating.
Interject or not. So, essentially the concept is, if there's 3 people, if they've created a triangle where they closed it off, essentially,
that's not the conversation to enter.
Go look for a different,
go look for the missing corner.
Yeah, go look for another group to talk to. Yeah. But if there's 3 people and they're standing, maybe shoulder to shoulder, or they leave an opening to the crowd, then that's a perfect opportunity to walk up and introduce yourself. And I think that sometimes the folks, it is daunting, but I think we overblow it also, right? I think people are not innately mean, I think, right? Especially at a networking
Especially
event, when you're going to there to further to expand your network and further your business. I think that going up to a group and saying, hello, I'm Jason, what do you guys do? What does everybody do here? I think is going to be welcomed much more warmly than people think.
I agree. You just got to it's one of those things you got to put the reps in.
Yeah.
But also, what's your opinion on like elevator pitches?
I'm not a huge fan of them.
Okay.
I'm not. If somebody asks me what I do, I get through it quickly, right? At security systems, This is what I do. But I want to get to know about a person, right? How did they end up at this event? Where are they coming from? How far are they coming, right? I want to know about them. For me, I'll get into what I do, but it's not.
Yeah.
An elevator pitch is nothing. Especially, I don't want to have something memorized and then sound like a robot when I walk up to somebody. So that's the other thing.
I agree. I really, really, I really lose interest in someone, which it's also not great because I shouldn't. But I really don't like, to your point, when you ask someone like, oh, what is it that you do? And it's like they give you like a cryptic answer to kind of force you to ask them what you actually do. You know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Okay, so I sell commercial insurance. I own a commercial insurance agency, right? That would be that is my answer. What do you do? Oh, I own a commercial insurance agency. Okay. Some of these elevator pitch like coaches tell you to be like, I help businesses manage their total cost of risk. What?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What does that mean? Yeah, exactly. Like, I really get irritated because I feel like I'm being worked.
Yeah,
you know,
no, for
like
sure.
like you've rehearsed this to the extent where you expect an answer, so you give me an answer, so you're a robot.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Exactly.
I don't like that either.
I'm with you. Listen, for me, it has to be not nobody. Most people are not going to do business with people that they don't enjoy talking to or being around. So for me, let's connect on a personal level. Talk about your family. Again, how far are you coming from? Have you been in Florida for years? Did you grow up here? Were you born here? And then we can get to the business stuff later.
I agree. I think that I would say too, that's probably, and I think that's why networking is so difficult for people that are new to it, because really what we've already figured out is being yourself is the best thing to do in networking. Sure. But people feel they have to put on an act to be at these events and like to be memorable. And I think that the quicker you realize that really what people want to get to know is you, and you show up at the event like you. I'm not saying that you're showing up like you on a Friday night at 2 a.m., right? Because you don't want to be that person at the networking events either.
Agreed.
You do not want to be the person that's getting drunk off the open bar.
Agreed.
Like, no.
Yeah.
It's just be yourself, be authentic, and just communicate the way you would talking to a friend. I really do think that it just, I feel like there's a cycle of networking when you start, of things that you think you need to do, and then you realize, well, that's not really working, or I don't like it. Right. I think networking becomes taxing when you have to do that, right?
Sure.
You get home drained. It's not fun because it's just so inauthentic that it really just takes over.
The crazy thing is that, to your point, when you're starting out networking, you're trying to put all of the information of what you do into an elevator pitch, if you will, right? When really, so the newer folks that have maybe just started in the industry, networking is actually much easier than they think, because the people don't really want to be pitched on every A to Z of what this job you just started, right? Or this career you just started. Talk to them about yourself. You know everything about yourself. You're an expert on you, right? Go talk to them. Have a great time. Talk very high level about what you do. For me, if I meet somebody at an event, I'm not going into the weeds of what I do. I'm telling them very high level. We'll exchange information, and then let's have a call or let's have a coffee and really get into the weeds. But right now we're at an event.
Right.
There's 50 people here. Right. I don't want to spend the 2 hours at this event talking to one person. Right. I had a chance to meet you. That's amazing. Let's connect one-on-one. Right. This is not a great setting to get into the weeds of what I do, my security systems and how we design them. Like, where we can do some business I can be of value to. Let's meet up at another time.
So we've nailed the initial networking, right? Get out there, pick the event wisely, right? Choose the event that you think is going to benefit you. If it requires a heavy time commitment, then monitor, right? Sure. The connections, the referrals, the business, to whatever degree. I also think the profession matters. Obviously, a financial planner is not walking in somewhere and getting business in 3 months, because that is a heavy trust business, right? Sure. If you're very transactional, if you're selling Mary Kay, not a lot of commitment, right? I could buy my face soap from you. I like it or I don't. I move on. Not a huge, it's the sales cycle is much shorter. Sure. So obviously that matters. But we got that. Elevator pitch, no elevator pitch, be yourself. Okay. What happens post-event? Because that's also another bucket. People don't know how to follow up. Yeah. Like, are you following up on LinkedIn? Are you connecting on LinkedIn? Are you sending an email that night? Are you sending it the next morning? You don't want to seem too desperate. Like, there's not courses on, or maybe there is courses on this. Romy taught me. I got my course from Romy. If you want it, she's the best business developer in town.
Yeah, you're in good shape.
Yeah, get it from Romy. But honestly, and I asked her, I said too, but like, what's the game? You see, like, she has no shame. She thinks LinkedIn DMs, I'll send one. Right. I won't. Yeah, I'm not there yet.
That's all right.
So
Everybody's got their style.
Right. What is your best strategy or style?
For me, I am admittedly not great at LinkedIn. So I'm an email person. If I'm trying to set something up, if I'm at an event and I meet somebody that I want to speak with, I want to have a one-on-one with, I'm going to email them the next day, or the day after when I get to it. Hopefully the next day if I can get to it, and try to set that one-on-one up, whether it's a call, a video call, a coffee, a lunch, whatever the case may be. I have no problem doing it the next day. But I definitely want to do it soon, right? I don't want them to be like, wait, where did we meet again?
Correct.
Who are you? Right. So I want to do it soon after that event, so that they remember our conversation briefly, and we can get into the weeds on that one-on-one.
Yeah. And so then what's the follow-up game after that? Like how often? Okay, so you and I meet, right?
Yep.
We met. We did a Zoom call.
Sure.
Okay. We connected some emails. You sent me an email. I referred you to someone in New York. So we interchanged. I remembered you, right?
Yeah,
I already had you on my list.
Yeah.
I wanted to have you on the pod. But like, what happens if this wouldn't have happened? Like, what's your game plan? Or do you have like an Excel sheet of the connections? Like, how do you manage it?
It's a good question. And I am, I'm a note taker. So I've got, a CRM and all my notes are in there, right? So if I am meeting with, or I meet with somebody and they say they need XYZ service, I can pop it into my CRM, and all those folks that are my contacts that have that in their notes are going to come up. So I'm going to say, you know what, I've got people I can connect you with. And I'm literally going to go through my CRM and start making the connections for them. So you're in there, right? If I speak to somebody, they need insurance, your name's going to pop up when I pull the names up, right? I'm perfect. I've got somebody to introduce you to, you know? But that's, for me, that's how it works, right? I get in front of a client, for instance, and they're moving into a new space and I'm talking to them about security. I'm always asking them the question, hey, you're moving in and I'm helping you with security. That's fantastic. What else? Who else can I get you in touch with that can help you, right? You got a million balls in the air with this move. Who else can I get you in touch with, even outside of security? I've got a ton of contacts. I'm happy to connect you with folks that I know, folks that are good. And then that's when they're telling me, hey, I need insurance. I need furniture. I need lighting. I need whatever. Furniture, you know, we connect them with whoever we can. Folks in our network that are good, right?
So really the lesson here for anyone starting in networking, right, is that this involves way more strategy than just going to a happy hour, right?
Oh yeah.
The success of networking, there's a strategy behind it.
For sure. I mean, meeting somebody at a happy hour or a networking event that's the first.
That's the smallest piece, really.
That's just, hey, now you know who I am and I know who you are. In order to get that relationship built, it's the same thing that we were talking about, going to these events and continuing to go to show people that you're serious about your craft and you're serious about your career. It's the same thing with meeting somebody at a networking event and then following up with them, sending them an email, setting up a one-on-one. That's letting people know, okay, this person is not just collecting business cards. So, you know, keeping track of their business cards, nobody wins with that, right? If you follow up and develop that relationship, you get on that call or you get on a one-on-one and you learn about that person, right? That's the most important thing. For me, I get on that call. Obviously, we're going to have a conversation, so it will come around to me to say what I do. But I'm trying to learn everything I can about that person that I'm having that one-on-one with, because those are the notes that I'm going to take so that I can refer them going forward. If I have no notes on somebody, it's over. They're never going to get referred because they're never going to come up for them.
Right. It's I love that you said that too. So it's the human aspect, obviously, of the connecting in person and virtually, or, you know, maintaining the relationship. There's also a technology aspect to keeping organized notes. The CRM helps, obviously, if you're in a role where your company doesn't support the cost of a CRM, there's some that are very inexpensive.
Some that are free.
Some that are free, right? Like HubSpot's free for like the first 1,500 it's an astronomical amount of people that you would have to keep in contact with.
You're in business if you have 1,500.
Correct. Right. But like there's a strategy to being successful in this and to building the network and to staying in front of on top of mind.
Sure.
Right. And so I'm fascinated actually that you're not on the LinkedIn game, because that's such a crucial piece of being in between.
It is one of the things I'm working on.
That's interesting.
Because I am, there's so many things. I think you brought it up earlier. It's like, are you going to contact me via text, via email, via LinkedIn, via this? And it becomes so much. I have people contacting me on WhatsApp and I'm like, man, you would think that a text message would get to somebody sooner, but if it all becomes a mishmash of how people are contacting me, then it's all the same.
I'm so happy you said that because I 100% agree. This is my strategy. So I meet you, I connect with you, I send everybody. I mean, like, I don't even take business cards to most events.
Oh, okay.
Because
you're it's different than me.
Oh my God. Tell me your opinion on it. I want to know. You're the expert. I'm not the expert. You're the expert.
I want the business card because I want to be able to get back home and see who I met that day or at that event. And for me, if it's all digital, it's so easy for me. so easy to get lost, right? When people give me a digital business card, which is becoming more and more popular these days, I'll just hit save contact.
No, I don't love that.
Yeah. Save contact.
No.
You're gone.
Correct.
Thousands of contacts.
I actually won't save your contact.
You're gone. If I just save this is over. I have to take a screenshot. Like, and I guess I'm old school because for me that stuff is when they say digital card, I'm like, oh man, here we go.
Yeah. So, that is so. Yeah. I agree with you. I don't take the business card, but I'll take yours. You know why?
Yeah. Okay.
I want to control it.
That's fair.
I don't, because
you're not giving them, you're taking them.
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
So what I do is, this is my strategy. I'll say, oh, are you on LinkedIn? Connect with me on LinkedIn, but give me your business card. Because I'm like, or what I do is I'll send them a DM on LinkedIn, met here, so that I remember the next day. Yeah. But my reasoning is, this is going to sound really bad, but I got to say it because it's true. For me, a lot of people want your time.
Yeah.
How do you protect your time, right? I had to guardrail some of my time because I also know who is my ideal target, who's my ideal referral partner, who my ideal client is. And some people are just not.
They're not, yeah.
And especially with lunches. Everyone wants to go to lunch. I'm very, 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 there's a short amount of people that go to lunch.
Yeah. That's good.
Because it's 3 hours of your day.
Yeah, no question.
Minimum.
No question.
So I realized that maybe it's also me having a hard time saying no. I feel bad saying no if I get invited. Like I feel like I'm obligated to. So I've streamlined my Calendly link to be able to be very specific. Like on Tuesdays are my networking days out of the office. I have a specific day.
I love it.
I'm not going to lunch 3 times a week.
Yeah, I love that.
I can't. My staff needs me. It disrupts me.
Sure.
So it's like I have a morning so I could do it and come here, but I'm not leaving here to go and come back. Yeah, can't do it, right? No, so I send everybody to LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn, because also I'm creating content. I'm doing these things, right? So if I'm not growing the eyeballs on it, what am I doing all of this for?
So it's so true. Yeah.
So it's like, oh, you want to connect with me on LinkedIn because that way, I have an audience to watch this, so they can watch your video.
Understood.
In 4 weeks.
Good see everyone.
So I feel like that's the ecosystem that I'm building for myself that. Also, if I don't really feel like there's a lot of synergy, it's a very polite way to be like, well, connect with me on LinkedIn and we'll stay in touch.
Yeah.
That game. But like, how do you protect your time? Like, how do you know if it's, or do you you're available? Always.
No, I struggle with it, with saying no as well. There are folks that want to get on my calendar and I'll tell them, listen, I've got a very small window, so let's jump on a 15-minute call, right? Let's jump on a 20-minute call. And then I'm just trying to learn about them, right? If I don't think that there's a ton of synergy, I'm not so confident that they're going to send me anything or they're going to provide value for me. But let me learn about you, and if there's something that I can do for you, if there's somebody I can introduce you to, fantastic, right? But yeah, I think the lunches are the big time killers. Coffees, huge time killers. Even just a coffee. I mean, again, between the travel and it's tough.
So here's what I did to manage my calendar, because my calendar was running my life, and I was drained.
Yeah.
And I'm getting there again. I actually told my husband yesterday, I'm considering blocking the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Because I have some projects that I need to take care of, and I'm working till midnight at home. Like I'm getting tired. I was like, I'm considering it.
I get it.
Blocking it and making exceptions. But lunches are for people that I have established relationships with.
Yeah, fair.
I'm not taking a cold lunch.
Yep.
Like if I just met you last night at a networking event, you want to go to lunch with me next week? Absolutely.
Agreed. No, that's for sure.
Lunches are for clients, referral partners, established relationships.
Yep.
That's it. If we're meeting for the first time, it's a Zoom or a coffee. And what I did in the morning was I made the coffee spots on my Calendly link. I did it based off of my location. So it's either the Starbucks next to my house or the coffee shop close to here. Because I'm not driving to Brickell for a 30-minute coffee when I don't know
50 minutes to drive there, 50 minutes to drive back.
When I don't know you. It's just not happening.
It's so true. No, I think that, look, these days, the pandemic pushed the video call to the forefront, and that made things easier in terms of it's a little bit more personal than a phone call. Not as personal, obviously, as meeting in person, but it's that niche in between, right? So that will save you a lot of time, right? If you can get a video call versus going out for a coffee or a lunch. But yeah, I struggle with it as well, saying no.
Tough.
It's tough because you don't want to turn your back on any opportunities that are out there, right? You always want to make sure that you're taking full advantage of everything that's out there for you, but you do have to guard your time. And I struggle with it, and I don't want my time to spill over too much. You know, I still am always working on the balance between work and life and my family, right? I mean, I sit there, and to your point, working until, you know, late in the evening. Son comes home from school, my wife is home from work, and I'm still working. And my son I put my son to bed, right?
So you can go back to
watching
work.
TV,
right.
And I'm working again. It's like, I can't do that, right? So I'm still struggle with it all the time.
I mean, I don't know that it ever ends. I think I've convinced myself that there's just seasons, that I'm in a season of growth, and that requires sacrifice, you know, and then it'll come back, you know, it'll even out. This is so good. So many good tips on it, because it's funny how I've met people in this space, and while I'm growing my own business and my network, and so many people I guess I just didn't realize how many people have a challenge with networking, even extroverted people, right? Because to be successful at it, there is the strategy piece, which I love that you broke down the organization of information, you know, the occasional email of just staying in touch. How can I help you? What are you up to? Those types of things require strategy. Building a network is not spaghetti at the wall. No, at least not a good network.
I was just going to say, right. You can do it, I suppose, but
right, not a good network. Yeah. Talk to me about moving down here and opening this branch of DGA. What did that look like?
It looked great, and then the pandemic hit. Right? So the plan was for my wife and I to move down here September of 2020, and the pandemic hit in March. Business was all over the place. The world was upside down. Yeah. So we actually pushed the move back to the following March. So March of 2021. And coming down here was, it was not something that we had done before, right? Our office is in New York, and we had business all over the country, but we had our office in New York, right? There wasn't anybody that was working before the pandemic outside of the office, right? So in some ways, the pandemic, I guess, helped that cause, right? It got us to understanding that the business can be done outside of the office, right? But then also, you know, with business itself, I mean, the plan was to move down here before the pandemic because we already saw there was so much happening, right? And then once the pandemic hit, it was on the front page everywhere, right? All these companies were coming down here. So it helped us in that regard too. So business-wise, just understanding that, having the confidence to know that the business can still be run not from the office in New York. But it was a scary time. I mean, we're going into a new market that, is it going to be worth it? Is it going to be,
right? Is
this going to be a success, right? We do some business here, but does it warrant us having bodies here, right? Thankfully, it worked out well. And, you know, with the things that we've been able to do since we've been down here have been amazing, right? Some things I'm extremely proud of, right? I mean, I came down here again, it was just me, and now we've got extra positions that we've created, extra jobs that we've created, right? It was important for us to, if we're going to do business in this community, right? Being down here, part of it was, if we're going to do business here, we should have people here, right? We didn't just want to, we have a ton of people in New York. We didn't just want to bring everybody from New York down here. It's like, let's be part of this community, right? Let's hire from the community. Right? We have a couple of people, sure, that can come down to Florida, but we don't want, you know, everybody from DGA in Florida to be New York, right? New York transplants, if you will. So
I think that's critical. Yeah, and I think that's critical too to the culture down here too. Like culturally, I think South Florida, I mean, I've been here all my life, but from my perspective, I do think that we like to do business with our own kind here, right? Like our local people, right? To know that you grew up here, or, you know, it's different. It's just, I think it's a different, and it might be like that everywhere. I don't know. But I do agree with that concept of like, of hiring local people as well to kind of create some, not only do they come with their own networks, obviously rooted here. But there's definitely an upside to that.
For sure. I think generally speaking, to your point, that's what people want to do, right? They don't want to work with a company that just fly by night, come into the town and, bring all their people from out of town. So it was important for us.
I think that happens so much too here. It might be a cultural thing in a negative way that there's so many companies that come here, so many businesses that come here, show up, make some noise and leave.
Yeah.
That I think that rooting yourselves here was definitely a smart move.
For sure. I mean, listen, in hindsight, it was a good move, but it was certainly scary when we did it. But it's worked out, thankfully, and we love it down here. My wife loves it.
That.
My son, we moved when my son was just about to turn 1, 2 or 3 days before he turned 1. So
he's a Florida baby.
Yeah, he's a Florida baby, and nothing puts
he's tropical.
Yeah, nothing puts a bigger smile on my face than watching him swim in a pool January or February.
Yeah,
this kid has no idea how it is in New York.
Yeah, what a great life. Yeah, that's you're already spoiling him.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly.
Talk to me about scaling a team. What do you think it takes?
I think it takes everybody being on the same page and everybody wanting to help those new folks that are coming in. Right? I think that if people on the team are on different pages and their success is not aligned with that new person's success, it can be a problem, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you can have managers, but the people that are going to teach the new hires are the people that are doing it, right? So it's important that the people that are doing it are encouraged or motivated to train that new person that comes in. Otherwise, they're going to be lost, right? It's tough to hire somebody and then say go out there and find some business and they don't know where to start.
I think that I mean, I would assume it sounds like it's no different than networking, right?
Yep.
There's strategy that's involved in that. Hiring someone, I mean, we go through it. Obviously, what we do is very detailed and it's hard to fill a seat. First of all, it's not a sexy industry. Nobody wants to do it, right?
Sure.
So finding people that can navigate the detail of the work, plus being motivated to sell, right? Go get the business, to understand how to build relationships, right? It's tough.
Sure.
It's tough.
It's it's tough. I think that hiring is always going to be a challenge.
So
right?
challenging.
You're talking about not being in the sexiest of industries, right? I don't think that when kids grow up, they think about being in the insurance industry or selling security systems. So
yeah, we're not the pick. We're not the top pick.
Exactly. But I think that I mean, the way that we talk about these or what we do rather, and the folks that we help, right? I mean, we're taking something that in and of itself may not be sexy, but we are providing security systems for
it's important.
Some of the biggest brands all over the country, right? So if we want to talk sexy, we can say we do the security systems for most of the jewelers around the country. We do most of the high-end retailers, right? So Bal Harbour, Design District, most of those retailers are our clients. So we can kind of, make it a little sexy. Sexy.
You can. I can't. I can't. I'm done. I'm just like, listen, you got to pay a premium. You're going to be mad about it. Like, I mean, you might as well just do it with someone that you like, right?
Yeah,
like, hopefully.
Sure. I mean, that's hopefully what they're doing, right? I mean, we're going in a lot of times and educating the clients on who we are because we're not the household name. They don't necessarily know who we are, especially from, outside of being a local company in this area. They don't know that we have nationwide coverage, right? They don't know that we can help our clients overseas as well. For us, getting in front of a client and educating them on that and then saying, we have a nationwide reach. These are some of the clients that we're protecting. Kind of, it's really cool to see them when they start realizing that there are other options besides just the big guy that's out there, right? The big guys that are out there. And then we go in there and they understand, okay, you know what? With a company like DGA, they're actually going to be accessible to me. I'm not going to be on a automated menu for 20 minutes before I can speak to somebody. At the end of the day, when you're trying to contact your security company, it's not because, you just want to see how my day is, right? My clients don't contact me like, how is everything? I'm just checking in, right?
Yeah.
No, they're contacting me because there's a problem that they need to have resolved and it's a security issue, so they need it resolved quickly. So it's important that they can reach somebody.
Tell me about what, let me see how to ask this question. About okay, so obviously I own a commercial property, right? let's say I own a warehouse. How do I know? I know you guys are the expert, right? I would call you to help me assess that. But like, what are the fundamentals of security that people that own real estate would need?
Yeah,
Does that question make sense?
Yeah, for sure. So I think when we talk to folks, everybody has the understanding you're not going to open a business or a commercial space and not do anything in the way of security. You're going to do something, right? So for us, it's important to understand what that space is going to be used for, what they're doing, right? Different business types need to be protected differently, right? So I need to protect a jeweler differently than I would protect, I don't know, a company that sells bed sheets, right?
Correct.
So for us, it's about knowing what they do, protecting them the right way. There are certain standards for certain industries that is also where we end up excelling past our competition, because a lot of the other companies are not giving their people the ongoing training that they need to make sure that their clients are meeting their insurance requirements and things like that. That can be a huge problem if they ever have a loss. The insurance company comes back and says, well, you didn't do the security the right way. It's not that the security company that they dealt with did it maliciously. They just may not have known how to protect that type of business, right? So for us, we go in and we're very much specialists in those high risk industries, right? So jewelry, high-end retail, art, cannabis, those are all industries where the insurance companies are telling them, you cannot bring in any merchandise. You cannot open the doors until you have security. This is not a luxury. This is not an option.
Right.
You need this or you're not getting coverage. And if you don't have it, you have a loss, there's nothing to cover you for that. So, I think that for us, we're going in, getting into the details of what they're doing with the space and how they're using it.
And how do I, as a consumer, what are the questions that I should be asking my security company to know that I've found the right fit?
Yeah, I think that the things that you should know as a consumer are, again, first and foremost, how accessible are you, right? If I have a problem, I need to speak with somebody. Am I going to be able to speak with someone? And then two is, what does the system look like for me once it's set up? How am I going to use the system, right? For my video cameras, how do I see it, right? What does the interface look like? For the security system, how do I arm and disarm the system? What does the information look like in terms of who's arming and disarming the system? Where can I get that information? How do I pull it? Can I pull it myself? Do I need to contact you? Those are all questions that I would ask as a client, as a potential client. I would want to know how that system is going to work for me and how DGA is going to be there for me if I need to speak with them. So
fascinating what you do.
I love that you find that fascinating. It's amazing.
It really is. I mean, it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't realize, it's almost like an afterthought. I think that people have, like, the fob, the security, the alarm, the camera. You're just like, okay, yeah, I have it. But like, really, it really is something that needs to be managed.
No, it does. And it's climbing up on people's priority list with the way the world is right now. It's, unfortunately,
right,
climbing up. There's some wild things that go on when people are trying to break into a space. And again, we protect, a ton of high-risk clients. So we've seen people cut through a wall. We've seen people cut through ceilings. We've seen people, wait it out for hours until they leave a space. And then they're, it's really wild stuff that we see. And when we're protecting a space, sometimes we'll get a little bit of pushback from the client that doesn't understand the risk, or the threat rather, and says, why do we need a motion sensor here, right? Why do we need, I get it, for instance, from those high-risk industries, we'll put motion sensors in the bathroom. Like, why do I need a motion sensor in the bathroom? And you have to educate them on the threat, right? Hey, you've got a restroom that is, if you're a jeweler, for instance, and I am a bad guy, and I'm looking at a chain, $50,000 chain, whatever it is, big piece of jewelry, and I'm looking at it, and then I say, hey, I gotta use the restroom.
Right.
As the jeweler that might sell, like, you're thinking you're gonna sell this piece, are you gonna tell that potential client, sorry, we don't have a restroom for clients, come back, use the restroom and come back? Or are you gonna say, our restroom is back of house, let me show you where it's at? They walk that person back, that person's in the restroom, not really needing to use the bathroom. They say, oh, there's no protection here. They wait till the store is closed. They break into the restroom. They wait till you come in the morning. You unarm the system. They're already in your space. You get ambushed.
Wow.
I've seen it all the time, right? Why do I need this many motion sensors? all I need is a door contact. If the door doesn't open, the alarm's not going to do anything. So we need motion sensors within the space. Those are things that, honestly, it's not that I expect them to know. They're not in this industry, right?
Most people would never think that deep, that there's that many levels, or people think a point of entry is a door or a window. Right. That's it.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah, the bad guys are not pulling on.
Correct.
Like, that's locked. Let me go to the next one.
They're not knocking and be like, "Oh, is anybody home?" No, it's wild that you say that, because we actually had an insured many years ago at a different agency where we worked that sold cell phone accessories.
Yep.
And they got robbed, and they cut through a wall from the outside. Yep. They had already known, and they had like entrapment, like the lasers and like the motion. Yeah. And they cut through the cinder block from the outside, and they were able to get in. And obviously cell phone accessories, there's $40,000 worth of accessories in one box because they're small. Yeah. Right. So even that matters, right? The size of the product that you sell.
For sure.
If you sell a huge televisions, right? It's hard. Yeah, people are going to see people carrying televisions out, right? But like, if your merchandise is small and your product is small, and a box of it could hold $100,000 of product, the security is very different.
Yeah, for sure. And it's look, we go in there. We want to protect these spaces the right way. So if a client tells me I don't need motion sensors, I'm not going to sell them a system without motion sensors. I'm going to say, okay, if I'm going to do the security system here,
correct,
we're going to put motion sensors. If you don't want to put motion sensors,
we're not the one for you.
No problem. It's not us, right? We're not the company. We've been in business for 56 years. We've got a great reputation. That reputation is in place and is as good as it is because we don't cut corners, right? We do things the right way. That's why insurance brokers refer us, because they know if we put a system in, we're going to do it the right way. We're going to provide all of the right services. We're going to provide the right design for that system based on what the industry is. But yeah, it's crazy stuff, and people don't often think, to your point, they're not going to cut through my wall. They're not going to cut.
Nobody thinks it's going to happen to them.
So, if they want to get into your space, they'll figure out a way to get into your space, right?
I think people also forget that like we're good people, so we don't think like the bad guys, right? Yeah. Well, the bad guy, when they want to do it, they'll do it.
The other thing too is that these folks that are committing robberies or intrusions, they're not doing that because they're not smart. Some of them are very smart. Correct. They should be applying that to something else, but they don't. So you have to guard against that, right? There's all kinds of threats now besides just breaking in. A regular break-in is they're using cell jammers now to block the signals from the alarms. Just wild. Wow. We've seen videos of some of the most insane stuff. We just saw a video a couple months ago of a retailer that got broken into. I won't say the retailer, but we did the alarm and the cameras at this space, and you can actually see they were cutting a hole in the wall from the outside. So they cut a hole, but they were smart enough not to push the panel that they cut into the space, because that would trip the alarm. So they cut the hole in the wall, and then you see almost like the cameras that the doctors use to go down your throat. Literally, you see that come out of one of the slits where they cut the hole. So they're looking to see what's in that room. They were smart enough when they were ready. They pulled the panel out. So they didn't push it into the room. They pulled it out. And then they ran in, got whatever they were trying to get, or tried to get whatever they were trying to get.
Yeah.
But these are not...
They're not amateur.
That smart people. Right?
Yeah, it's not a middle schooler riding his bike wanting to break into your car window because there's a cell phone. It's not. We're not dealing with the same person.
If that was the case, then I would say this is not... You probably don't need security that... Right. That intense security.
Correct.
Because these people are not smart.
Well, they're advanced.
That's not the case. They know what they're doing. They're using technology now. Technology that's illegal, that for some reason is available online for purchase. I have no idea. It's crazy.
We're not going to say what it is here. No.
Oh, it's crazy. The stuff that's out there. You've got to guard against it.
Right.
People are out there and unfortunately trying to get what you have.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, again, this was super fascinating. Thanks for coming.
For having me.
Thank you. My last question, which is always a good one, which I love. What is the best piece of career business advice that you've gotten that has made an impact in you that you would like to share?
It's a good question. I think that for me, for advice, I would say build your networks, right? When you're getting into an industry, or once you're in the industry and you're doing well, continue to build your networks, because you're going to meet really fascinating people. You never know whether you're a year in or 10 years in or 20 years in, you meet somebody that just is going to propel your career to the next level. But a really good piece of business advice that I got was many, many, many years ago. I was in a different industry. I was in finance, doing municipal bonds. And the thought always is, when you're selling a product, sell it to your family and friends first. And this one guy, his name was David, he said, don't do that, because what's going to happen is you're going to have a couple of sales off just the people that you know, but you will not have been honing your craft or getting good at selling this. So you're going to be out of the business. And then these people their accounts are going to go to somebody else that's been in the business. He said, build your business. Be somebody that is going to have a career in this, and then go back to your family and your friends and sell them. I always thought that was fascinating, because I think that the thought most times is sell to everybody that you know, your family and your friends, right? And it was just the opposite from him. I loved that advice. So for me, it was, I never try to sell family and friends. I will certainly do it. I've had very, very close friends, family come to me for security systems that we've done for them. It's never because I'm trying to get them, right? It's, hey, you're building a house. Great. Congratulations. Let me know how it goes. Oh, I need security, actually. Can you guys help me with it? Sure. I'm happy to do that. But I'm not going to solicit you for security. Your family and friends.
I like that. No, I like that. First of all, that's the first time I've heard it, but it, like, on the show, but also the concept of that too, for multiple reasons of, I mean, you're not getting better professionally, right? Because you know that it's kind of the low-hanging fruit in your networks. So you're also just kind of cutting your teeth with them, which doesn't do them any good, or you. Yeah. So that's actually really good advice. And also just family and business, and it's tough.
Yeah, the challenges that brings.
It always brings its own sets of challenges with family and friends. And so, yeah, that's great. I lied. One more question. Are you a reader? Do you like to read?
I wouldn't say I'm a reader.
Okay.
Read a book here and there. A Dr. Seuss book here and there.
Okay, no, I'm kidding. Reading to your son doesn't count. No. Sure. I was going to ask if there was a book that's made an impact on your
actually,
on your
the
career.
one that you have there, I'm in the middle of right now, Traction.
Oh, it's so good.
There. So I'm in the middle of that. And I've got, some other books that I've read. The 4-Hour Workweek was interesting.
I haven't read that one yet. So many people talk. It's on my list.
It's cool. It is. There's good pieces of it.
Sure. Like an
apply, right? I mean, it's not. I wouldn't finish that book thinking that you're going to have a 4-hour workweek. But it's some of the principles of scheduling things. I think you're already doing some of it, right? Where you said, I have Tuesdays for meetings, right? I think a lot of that is scheduling, staying in front of your calendar. There's a couple of other ones. Not coming to mind right now.
Traction's great though. Traction is one of those too, where I read it, and I mean, I'm not this giant corporation, so there's so much of it that doesn't apply, but the parts that did apply were substantial for me too, just to running efficient meetings and not getting caught up in that game of useless meetings and wasting time and things like that, and the little rocks and the big rocks, and it's a really good book.
So I read the smaller one. What is EOS first, actually, right? Because we implemented that and then came back around and just started reading Traction.
Good. Yeah. Well, thank you again for your time. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, for sure. So DGA Security, you can go to DGA.com. We can help you out with alarms, cameras, and access control all over the country. We're headquartered in New York. My office is here in South Florida. But again, anywhere in the country, we're happy to help. And for me personally, my email is jason.gonzalez@dga.com. You can reach me there. Or LinkedIn, but again, as we spoke about earlier,
might be a little slow to respond on LinkedIn.
Right? Email me. Let's leave it at that.
We'll leave it in the show notes. Thank you again. Thank you so much for coming on and spending some time with us. And I'm going to be at your next one.
Yeah.
The next one.
So the next one is we've been doing Broward for the past 3 years, and in November we're still doing Broward on the 6th, but we're doing our first Miami one.
Nice.
Very excited about that.
Awesome. I know it's going to be a hit. I heard the last one was great. Several people told me.
Yeah, we've been having a great time. Romy was there. Romy brought her son, actually.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. She told me. I had met with someone else that they told me that they were there. So, thanks again.